Okay, we're recording, so those that can't be here with us. I'm not going to go through really announcements. I just want to get right into this Q&A. The best place to find answers about technical things with your Beachbody business is coachfaq.com. So with that being said, I'm going to make a note to you guys to look at and find the date for your local Super Weekend event. So Super Weekend, and also plan on coming to Coach Summit in July. So Super Weekend will be in April. Coach Summit will be in July. Use the coachfaq.com to find the time and dates for those and how to get to those. And then you guys are always welcome to private message me about that as well. We're going to go right into this Q&A. I have to load it up, but while I'm loading up our Facebook team page where these questions were asked, does anybody that's on here live right now have a question that I'd be more than happy to take before we get into these ones? And I'm just looking right here for the post. So, okay, here we are. I can't see you guys okay, anybody have a question to start off, or do you want me to just start hitting on me? Okay, the champ says, go at it. What's up, Chris? We got Chris all the way from the UK with us too. Hey, Ashley, I see Lindsay. The first question that was asked in this post was, should I run a separate group for my challengers committing to 10 rounds or keep them in my current group with my others? And then a second part of that question is, how do I maximize the opportunity to best boost my business? Okay, so this question, should I run a group for 10 rounds, a separate group for your challengers with 10 rounds? And then the second, how do I maximize the opportunity? I'll go just briefly into it, but I want to make an invitation to you guys to go on the team call tonight. For Chris, it'll be a little late in the UK because it's 7 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time, which is 8 Central, 9 Eastern. Tate Cox is going to go on and talk about the 10 rounds, the new program, and the launch of that program. He's going to talk about strategies for the launch, like how you could promote it, how to gather up a list of people, of prospects that would be interested in it, like to gain that interest. And then he's also going to talk about how, once the launch happens, like how to get those interested people into a challenge pack. He's going to specifically talk about, as a coach, like how to onboard coaches and use the opportunity with the launch of the 10 round to onboard coaches, since it releases earlier to coaches than it does to the customers. So he'll talk about that tonight. And then there'll also be a little brainstorming around running a group together. So this hits that question where we're just running a program specific, which means only people doing 10 rounds will be in the group for 10 rounds. So he'll be talking about that tonight. So if you want to really know how to leverage that, make sure that you hop on tonight and listen to him talk about that. For me specifically, anytime, the way that I run, everybody runs challenge groups different. My challenge groups, just to give you guys an idea, anybody that purchases anything from me is allowed into my challenge group. So it's called the Dynasty Strong Virtual Gym. If they get a 3-month membership, if they get the trial to Beachbody On Demand, they're getting an invitation into my challenge group. And it's just a continual big support group that's just ongoing. That's the way that I prefer to do it. I have done in the past where I run a group for like a 21-day group, 1 month. Let's say it's March, a 21-day group, and then in the next month in April, let's say I run another separate group. I've done that before, but what I found personally, and remember, this business is personal, like do what feels good to you, not what everybody else is doing. For me, I felt like I wasn't bringing the same energy and love to my customers in group 3. Like, let's say I'm running 3 groups, one of them, they overlap each other. I would maybe go live in one group. And then what would happen is I would just copy and paste that same content into the other ones. So I felt like they were getting the second hand. So I personally do better running one support group, one community group. Some people do amazing at running a group through March and then transitioning their customers from the March group into the next group with their new customers. You can do it how you would want to do it. But my personal way is that. So do what feels best to you, but don't get caught up on this. I know one of my new coaches is going to be watching this recording. She got really caught up yesterday for a couple hours on trying to figure out how to do this challenge group thing, like how to get it set up, how to, like, do I have people doing different programs? Okay, Mike's saying he's feeling the same thing. Like, do I have people doing Body Beast and doing this, or do they have to do all the same thing? Don't overthink it. My advice to her was like, she loves running. I was like, go out and run, like put it away for right now. And then I want you to just talk to people, like in your invite process with the Success Club System Tracker. Talk to people, invite them, sell them the challenge pack if that meets their needs, and just help them get started. And then, you know, as you get into that routine, then sure, form a group and get those people together and working out together. Or if you do that and you get 3 people that are interested and they follow through with it, like set up a group for them, put them in there, and just like hold each other accountable and just do what feels best. So yeah, Chris says, follow your gut, like don't overthink it. And I think I really had the blessing as I started my business to not overthink it, because for about 8 months before I ever became a coach, I would post on social media about, you know, my Peanut and the X journey or my before after pictures, or that I went running, and people would be, there would be the people that were interested and wanted help and were inspired by it. And then there would be the people that were like, this is annoying. All you do is talk about fitness. So I created a group called the Staying Fit Family back in the day. Jennifer Greenberg and I created a group called the Staying Fit Family. And anybody that was interested in doing workouts or learning about nutrition, we put in that group. So I didn't have that like challenge group, how do I run? As I got started, I was like, okay, you want help? Do this program, do this, and then come into our family and we'll help support you. So do what feels best to you. That's what feels best to me. Ashley says, I run one challenge group continuously that has been open for more than 2 years. We start fresh with content on the 1st of every month, which is when I add new people. It's great because people know they can always come back to the group if they fall off track. I love that. So do whatever feels best to you. One other thing is, like, if someone cancels their Shakeology or whatever it is, or their pre-workout and post-workout, they're still in the group, because I figure if they're in that group, they were inspired once, maybe when they're through the hardship that they might be facing, they'll continually see people transform in there and see that this is a solution that works, and they'll come back when they're ready. So keep it super simple, and that's what I do. So before I move on to the next question, do you guys have any questions about that? Challenge groups? Let's see, and then the actual question that was asked in the Facebook group was should I run a separate 10 rounds group over the group I'm currently running right now? My specific answer to that will be, I'm going to go on the call tonight and see what Tate has to share and say. And then I will make a decision on whether my people buying 10 rounds will just do it in the Dynasty Strong virtual gym, or will we do a group together? Like, I'll just have to listen to that call and see. I do know that he wants to run it on the My Challenge Tracker app instead of on Facebook. So my intuition right now before listening is I will probably do that, because I'm personally going to be transitioning running my support groups from Facebook into the My Challenge Tracker app, as we're going to have that BOD group app. Mike's probably like, brand new coach Mike is like, what? No, it's okay, Mike, one day at a time. Because Beachbody is launching the BOD groups in the spring, I will want to be transitioning to using the My Challenge Tracker app, because the My Challenge Tracker app is going to have like landing pages and marketing tools for you to use. So to give you kind of a sample of what that might look like, Mike is a new coach, or I see Randy and I see Michael on here, is I have a prospect that says, I want to do 10 rounds. I get their name and email, I put them into this app, and they can get to the landing page, or they come to this landing page of 10 rounds. There's videos, testimonials, they put their email in. The BOD groups has that ability to have that kind of a landing page. It then has a CRM, which is an email marketing system, where you can gather their emails and send them emails and follow-ups and links like the share a cart. That'll be all tied inside of the one group, and then transition them from there right into the same app, BOD groups, to run the challenge group, which is now the My Challenge Tracker app. So I most likely will use 10 rounds inside of the My Challenge Tracker app as I talk myself through it with Tate, knowing that I will be transitioning into that. So cool. I'm gonna see if there's any other questions on that. Okay. Now the next question was, okay, Whitney says, please record it. I'll be cleaning teeth. That's what I love about this business is if you can't be on live, you can always come back and get the replay. Okay, Leilani asked like 3 questions, so we'll go through them. Question number 1, how do you suggest new coaches talk about, I'm going to copy this onto a little note so I can look at both of them at the same time. So I don't answer them each like 3 times. Okay, this is a good question, so I'm excited she asked this. Okay, how many of you guys want to recruit coaches to your team? Right? Okay, so her questions are all, looks like they're mostly around recruiting and getting new coaches. So question number 1, how do you suggest new coaches talk about / attract people to the coaching side, the coaching and community side of Team Beachbody when we are all so new to this and we haven't formed a team of our own? So that's a great question. How do we recruit to the coaching opportunity without seeing financial success on our own when we're so new to it? This is where it's going to come down to knowing what your story is, like how Beachbody has transformed your life so far. I'm going to give you guys 3 questions to answer yourself to help craft your story if you haven't done this yet. Chris Pandolfo here, he's amazing at crafting his story. As you guys probably heard his story a lot over the past couple years. But the 3 questions that I have them ask are, number 1, what was my life like before Beachbody? So not even just the fitness programs. What was my life like before Beachbody? Question number 2, how has my life changed since starting, or what's different now versus then? And then the 3rd one would be, what is the reason or the why for you to continue this journey, your own journey and your reason to help other people? We're going hardcore. I'm putting my pen straight. I realized I brought Energize in here because I was feeling like I was going to crash and I didn't even drink it. It's like a sin. You got to drink the Energize before the team call. Okay, so those are the 3 questions. So I'm going to take you guys back to when I first started to help you guys understand how I attracted or built a team in my first year without any success, right? Because I didn't have financial success, or I didn't have a team to recruit to other than my upline. You know, obviously she had a team. I'm your upline, so you have your team in me. But I told the story around the framework of these questions that I just gave to you guys. And it was this, you know, I was working 12-hour work days. We had 2 kids at the time, and I, like my wife, you know, she gained weight with a pregnancy and nursing babies and all that came with that. I gained the weight with her. And, you know, I'm working 12-hour work days. I'm drinking 2 Rockstar energy drinks during the day, pounding the coffee to try to stay awake on these long work days and to try to keep up with the workload that I had. And then I met this guy in my neighborhood who was just jacked. He had like his biceps bulging out of his t-shirt, and we were the same age. And he was just a new neighbor, just introducing himself. And so I let him in, and I was chatting with him, and I was like, dude, how come, like, we're the same age, we both have 2 daughters, how come you look like that and I look like this? And I was just chubby, overweight, and tired. And he was fit and energetic. And so he told me that he trained the high school football kids. He invited me to come with him to work out in the gym. And I told him, you know, I wish I could, but I got to be to work at 5 a.m. and they trained at 6. So I was like, do you have anything I could do at home? And he said, you should do that P90X workout. So I committed to P90X, committed to the meal plan. I printed it out, put it in a binder. And when I do something, I go all in. So I went all in with that program. And in 90 days, I lost 38 pounds. And I had abs showing for the first time. I had this new energy. I wasn't drinking the energy drinks anymore. And my coworkers thought I was nuts because on top of the P90X, I would go jogging on my lunch break. And they're like, who is this kid? And so I started doing that, and people started asking me like, dude, what are you doing? Like, something's different. You've lost weight. You have more energy. You're changing. What is it? And I fell in love with telling everybody, like, you got to do P90X, or you got to try Insanity. And so I fell in love with that process. And then I found out by just looking at other P90X transformations online, I found out that I could become a coach. I found out that I could I could help other people get started on these programs, like my friend Kobe helped me get started, and that Beachbody would pay me. And the thing was that I told my coach when she first introduced this to me, when I first reached out to her, that I'm not going to, like, that's not for me. That's cool that you're doing it and that's awesome, but it's not for me. And I remember at that time, like, the reason was I thought I was too busy with a 12-hour workday. I thought, I'm pretty introverted and shy. I was like, I couldn't do it. Like, I couldn't do what she's doing, like what I see her doing on Facebook and on YouTube. So I had all of these excuses, but it was about 8 months full of these excuses that I was, I got to work. It was about 3 weeks after the birth of my daughter, Ellie. And I got to work and I opened up all the bills that I get from my lockbox at the end of my cul-de-sac. And it had the hospital bill, the doctor bill, the anesthesiologist bill. And I'm already working 12-hour work days every Saturday. My wife's working night shifts and we're barely paycheck to paycheck as is with that. And now we have all of these bills sitting there on my desk. And I remember thinking, like, how the heck am I going to pay these? Like, do I have to go get another job? I've already put like 5 years in here. Do I have to go back to school? Does my wife have to leave the night shift and work a higher paid job in the day? And then we put our kids in the daycare. I was trying to figure all that out. And then in the back of my mind, that whole day was do Beachbody coaching, like do what Lindsay's doing. And that was the day that I decided to become a coach. And the reason I became a coach that day is because I realized that my fear of not knowing how to provide for my family, that fear was greater than my fear of failing as a coach or that I wouldn't have enough time. And so that day I went all in and committed to helping as many people as I possibly could transform their life with Beachbody. So that's my story, framed in those three things. I told you how I felt before, how I felt after the workout program. Then I found out that I could help people, and this is why I'm helping people. And so I tell them, so when I was a brand new coach, I recruited 53 coaches in my first year from April to December. And it's because every single person I talked to, I told that story to. It wasn't told in the past tense. It's like, here's what's going on, man. You know me, I'm working 12 hours a day at Idaho Steel. I go in every Saturday. If the machine breaks down, when I get off, when I work 5 to 5 and the machine breaks down at 6, I go back in at 6 and I'll stay there till midnight or 1. I'll go home, sleep 3 hours, and I'll be back at 5. Like, that's the life. Like, I would just tell people really how it was, what I was going through. And I'd say, here's the thing. And I would do it real quick because I didn't know how to tell my story well. I'd be like, dude, I did P90X. Like, I lost this weight. I'm getting stronger. I'm getting more confident. And I found out that Beachbody pays me to help other people get results like I got. So you tell me you want to lose 40 pounds. I'm going to help you lose 40 pounds because it means that my wife can come home from working night shifts and I don't have to take every overtime shift anymore. Right? So you should do this with me. But what happened when I would tell them that, Mike, Chris, Michael, everybody that's on here, is they would say, like, I remember some of them as if they're yesterday. Man, like, I send my daughter to daycare. Like, I'm a single mom. I send my daughter to daycare. Like, I need to lose 60 pounds. And I would like to raise her on my own instead of saying, you're telling me that if I get results and help other people as well, that I could not have to send her to daycare. And I'll be like, yeah, let's do this together. Like, that's what I'm telling. If we work hard and we do this together, you can certainly achieve that. So does that make sense? Does that help you understand how you can recruit and talk about and attract people to your team before you ever have success? It's telling them what you've experienced, and it's all about the vision. Where are you going? Like, where are you going to go in your own life, and where are you going to help other people go? So talk about that. And then on the community side, talk about if you've had an experience with your coach, or that's why it's so important to go to Coach Summit, like the announcement I made at the beginning, to go to Super Saturdays when I host a team retreat again. Like, it's important to go to those things because then you get to really feel the community in person. But you can still share about that community outside of going to one of those by what you experience inside of your team page, one-on-one conversations with your coach, being on team calls, have an accountability partner. Any of those things, talk about what those do for you. And that'll help you as well, help other people understand what the community side is. And that's one of the greatest needs of humans in society today, is to feel like they belong to a community. So if you can communicate that well and create that well, you can attract people into that side that don't even care about making money. Like, yes, they're going to do that as a side, but they want to be a part of something and be a part of something that matters as well. So as long as you get true to that yourself, you can also recruit into that as well. I have coaches on my team who've been with me for 9 years that never advanced to Emerald, never sold products, that are still here using it, and they're coaches, and I love them just the same, and they love the community, and they're here for that reason, for their health and for the community. Okay, so question number 2 in Leilani's questions was, okay, is that clear? Does that help you guys? Any other questions on how to recruit when you're brand new? I know that could be like an hour-long topic, but okay, should we be sharing other people's progress pictures and post that post in our group? Is that something we should be doing? As I have mostly just been sharing my own transformation and would love for people to see the community side. So that's another great that's a great question. Okay, that is a great question. I still do that today. Like I have, obviously, like I shared Adrian's on here with us today. I shared her progress pictures today, but I shared one like 2 days ago from somebody that's not even on our team, not even on Lindsay's team. Like I saw it in the Ultimate Fix group, like I pay for the monthly fix, and I saw her transformation in there, and I was just like mind blown. I was like, holy crap, looks like a completely different person. So I messaged her, I said, hey, and I have a copy paste, you guys get this. It's the same questions I gave you, just barely. I'm gonna read them to you. I'll read this post. Actually, I'll just post it in the comments as I read it. Let me find it. Okay, I save everything in my notes. Okay, I'll copy it in the chat. I send this to people. When I see their transformation, I send this. It says, hey, I would love to share your transformation on my blog and also on my Facebook. Could you send me the pictures? And also, could you answer 3 questions for me to help motivate and inspire others? And it helps me write the post. So it says, why did you start? How do you feel now versus before you started? Number 3, why will you always continue this journey and encourage others? Okay, so it's those same questions that I gave you guys on crafting your story. I send that message. So her question is, should I be sharing other people's progress photos? Absolutely, because it creates social proof. Like if it's just you talking about your transformation all of the time, you know, you're going to connect with some people that might be exactly like you. But if you're not sharing, when you're sharing all of these different transformations and all of these different stories, you're going to be able to connect with people that connect with that story. Does that make sense? Like if I have somebody like Mike has a lot to lose. Chris started with a lot to lose. Like I don't have that type of story. So if I'm not sharing other stories like that, it might be hard for me to attract that person that will feel like I could be able to help them, unless they perhaps see transformation stories that are similar to what theirs will look like when they complete their transformation. So by all means, share transformation stories, but first ask for permission. Like write them and ask for permission. And then I do it at least once a week. I share somebody else's transformation photo. And once a week, and this goes back to question number 1 about recruiting, I share somebody else's business success. I share somebody else's business success. And I used to do that all of the time as I was getting started. I would share all of the little successes of my little team as it was getting started, whether it was a $150 paycheck or it was their first Success Club point, whatever it was, I shared that all the time. And somewhere I got lost in, this is what we accomplished. This is where we got now. And all just sharing my success and the success of this team. And it was my corporate mentor, Kayshawn, she's like, you have tons of people on your team alone that have created success. Like you need to be sharing those, because I was struggling with recruiting a little bit early last year in 2019. And she's like, she looked through my post and she just said, I don't see, because she was asking if I was, like my goal was to recruit business building coaches, right? And challengers. So she just looked through my Instagram feed and she scrolled through weeks and weeks of posts and she says, I can't see anywhere where you've shown that somebody else has created business success with Team Beachbody other than yourself. So if I'm a stranger, someone that haven't met you yet, and I land on your Instagram and look at it, I can't tell that you're going to help me see success. Like I can see that you're successful. So I made it a goal when she told me that to share one person's business success, no matter how big or small it was, on my social media at least once a week. And so the same thing will go with that. If you see Tate or Chris Pandolfo or myself or Kiera Ward or whoever on this team, Lindsay Matway or someone in Lindsay's downline or somebody in Team Beachbody that's not on our team and they share some sort of success, feel free to ask them and say, hey, kind of that same thing. Like, that was super inspiring to see what you've been able to accomplish with your business. Would you mind if I shared your story on my social media? And then ask for permission, ask them to answer a couple questions. So by all means, 100% you should be sharing those testimonials, not just from yourself, but from your clients and customers and coaches as you're growing your team. But until you have those, and even today, I'm still doing the same thing, sharing other people's success. I'll open up later. I have on my to-do list sharing someone's financial success that's not even in Lindsay, not in my downline or in Lindsay's downline. I just saw someone post what they've accomplished like the last 3 years, and I was like, that needs to be shared. So I'm going to share that. Chris has a good point. 7 billion people on the planet. Your story will mean something to somebody else. So absolutely. Okay, the last question of Leilani's was, do you have a suggestion on how to grow followers for potential clients on Instagram and how to get them viewing your stories and creating more engagement? I seem to only have 10 to 20 people who watch me daily. Okay, this is a great one. And this is going to be every brand new coach. And it's even going to be veteran coaches like me that get stuck from time to time. We're like, okay, it's the same people clicking on the polls. It's the same people watching the stories. And my following is not growing, but it might be dropping. So what's the best way to grow your followers? One thing I want you to think when you're growing followers is to grow quality followers. Because like I went on a thing where I used like programs that I paid for that grew my following from like 8,000 to 17,000. And as it grew like that, like I didn't really see much more recruitment of customers or coaches. It was just more people. And even the same thing ran true as I talked through some of these things with my corporate mentor about why I wasn't recruiting. I was recruiting, but I wasn't recruiting the right people that were putting in the work and passionate about this mission and overcoming their fears and the people that I wanted to attract to my team. And as we talked about it, she helped me through a series of questions, realized that I wasn't sharing authentically all of the things that I believed in. And as I stepped into sharing financial success, I realized I hate the word limiting belief, but it's there for people. It's like this is just so you guys can know one of my limiting beliefs that I've overcome was I stopped sharing financial success, not just mine, but I stopped sharing other people's and mine because I know people on social media and in person that are very close to me that struggle heavily with financial burdens. And I felt bad, or I felt something not good sharing about how I wanted more out of life than we already had when we already have it so good and they struggle. Does that make sense? So I stopped sharing financial successes. I stopped sharing my goals and my vision for the future. I stopped sharing when my coaches were seeing financial success because I didn't want to hurt those people or make them feel bad, or maybe it was just my own feeling of bad. But I just let that go and realized that it's okay to have abundance. It's okay. Like if I'm not trying to strive for more, then I'm actually going to be shrinking. And I was like, I put myself in that situation. So one thing that happened, I'll let you guys know, I started sharing more financial success stories on social media of, just like we talked through, my coaches, like I shared Tate earning his $12,000 in his first year. Like I put all those things up. I put income progressions from some of my coaches. So I started doing all those things again. Do you know what happened to my following? It went down. My following started to drop, okay? It started to drop. This is why I'm hitting on this before we talk about how to grow your followers. But all of 2019, I recruited between 3 to 4 coaches every month. And about 0 of them were hitting Success Club every month. That's not what you want to, that's not what you want to do when you're growing a team. When I started to make that shift, It started towards about Thanksgiving time, going into Christmas when I was in Taiwan. And I really realized that because I was in Taiwan and we booked travel for 11 of us to go to the Dominican. While we were in Taiwan, we bought tickets for all 5 of our kids, me and my wife, my in-laws, and my parents to go to the Success Club trip. We bought all the flights and paid for them to all come on the Success Club trip with us. And Gabby and I were sitting there like, let's not talk about this. Like, we're already in Taiwan. Let's not tell anybody we're doing this. And that's where I was like, why am I like afraid of like talking about our goals and dreams and what we're doing? So when I started to make that shift, guys, this following started to drop. But in December, which is the hardest month to recruit because people, spend money on Christmas presents and all of that stuff, we recruited 10 coaches. 5 of them hit Success Club. And they're here today moving forward. So that's where it comes in. Like when you're more authentic and true about your vision and your goals and what you want and who you are, you're going to attract more of the right people who will connect with you and have their own goals and visions. Does that make sense? So as we go to grow your followers, don't try to do what anybody else is doing. Don't try to emulate me or Chris or Ashley or Randy or Adrian. Like, be yourself. The more that you be yourself, the more you're going to genuinely connect with people. Number 2, I have to be able to go to your if you want to recruit and grow your Instagram followers for, reaching clients and reaching coaches, I have to be able to go to your Instagram, just like my corporate mentor did, and say, okay, Ashley can help me lose weight. She can help me get better at nutrition. Whatever it is that is on Ashley's feed. I haven't looked at your feed, Ashley, so I'm just making stuff up. She makes me laugh. I like that. And she can apparently help me understand how to grow a business and pay off my debt. Whatever it is that your thing is. You have to know what that is, and you have to articulate that on social media so that when you get these new followers, when they see your page, they say, okay, this person is worth following. I'm going to click follow. And that's going to then translate to them watching your stories and seeing what you're up to see if you're real or not real, authentic or not authentic. And it all comes down to that people have a short attention span. Like, I don't know what the science is, but probably like 2 seconds when they see it for them to be like, oh, this is good. And then scan it again. Okay, this will help me. This will add value. Click follow. And then once you can get them there, you have to be able to continually add value in some way, whether it's making them laugh, helping them know strategies to improve their day, whatever it is that's going to be your thing. Like Gabby's incredibly good at attracting people to our business by making them laugh. Like and it's because she's like, she'll do her workouts every day and do her stuff, but like at night she'll be watching Netflix and put Britney Spears' Oops, I Did It Again and slowly show a bag of Doritos. And people, like, it's just her being who she is, authentic, she's not trying to hide that she loves Doritos and watches Netflix at night. And, and that's all she does is just work out and eat healthy. So people see that example. They see that you don't have to be perfect. She makes them laugh. And she's just being herself. So she's really great in that way of attracting people. So just my advice to that would be, first of all, be authentic. Talk about your goals and dreams. Make sure that when someone comes to your Instagram feed, they know that you can help them achieve their goals, whatever it is that your thing is that you help people at. Like I even changed my Instagram bio after that conversation to make it more direct. It says, I help you achieve and maintain health and fitness goals and teach you how to build your own business. Okay, so it's like very clear what I do when someone lands, and then I got to show that. In my feed. People got to be, okay, there's transformation photos there. There's an income photo there, all on the first page. Like if they come there, they can see transformations and someone's business success, and it's not mine. So, okay, that talks about what to have kind of on your social media. We could talk for like an entire hour on that, but I want to keep it very simple. Show up consistently, add value, and be yourself. Like I have people come to me and say like, no one seems to be buying a challenge pack or can't seem to hit Success Club. And I go look at their Facebook or Instagram and they haven't posted for like 6 days. Like there's nothing there. So you have to be consistent. Think of yourself as a big brand because you want to be a big brand eventually. Would a big brand that you might follow on Instagram or social media, would they just take off from their social media for a week and not add any value? No. So you got to act and think like a big brand, but just building your brand is yourself and who you are. So the best way that I feel for you to grow followers, one of the biggest things that I do is I find influencers that I'm inspired by. And I have one in the archery, because I'm big into archery hunting. One of them's in the archery world. His name's Cameron Haynes. He's got like 800,000 followers and huge engagement. Everybody comments. Everybody watches his stories and comments on his stories. Now, he's not my target. I don't want Cameron to follow me. Although if you join my team, that would be awesome, but it's most likely never going to happen. But what I do want to do, and I have this with multiple people. I have it along with influencers in the same religion as me, influencers in my hobby of archery. I have it with influencers in my favorite music genres. So what I'll do is I'll scroll, like I'll comment on all of his posts and then I will like comments of other people that are commenting on his thread, because we most likely have things in common if we're engaging with the same influencer. Does that make sense? Like they're not watching him unless like Cameron's big into, he's been on podcasts and with David Goggins and all these guys. Like he sits in the front row at the UFC fights and interviews these people. So like if and he talks about hard work, he's an ultra marathon runner. Like the people that are watching him, archery hunters, like ultra marathon runner, all these people are going to be the hardworking people that I like, that I want on my team, that are also have the same hobbies, which would be shooting bows or archery hunting. Does that make sense? So I'm not trying to recruit him. I grow my following by talking to and engaging with those people that are engaging with him. So comment on their posts. What I'll do is I'll comment, like if someone's like, hey, let's say he comments on one of Cameron's things on one of his posts, right? Cameron will probably respond. He's pretty good at that, but I'll like his comment. I'll click on his profile, go to his page. I'll click follow on this person and I'll send him a message and I'll answer that question if I know it. Hey, I saw this question on Cam's page. This is what I found has helped me. Does that make sense? And right there, I've added a follower and I've started a conversation. So that's the best way. That's the way for me to grow my following on Instagram I do that with at least 10 people a day. Like I find and start 10 new conversations every single day. And I don't jump into the invite until 4 or 5 back and forths. Like we'll back and forth about the topic, and I will have liked and commented on a few of their photos, really understand them. I'll know what they do for work already. I'll ask them, what do you do for work? Aside from archery hunting, let's say we're along that topic. I'll like, what else do you do? Do you rifle hunt? Like what got you started? And I'll tell them I got started when I was a kid with my dad and my grandpa. Like we're building a relationship. And then after about a week or so, or if it goes faster, I'll be like, hey dude, like I know you're trying to get fit for the hunting season. Have you ever thought about doing a fitness challenge? And they're like, no, what does that involve? And then that's where I get the opportunity to, hey, shoot me a text and we'll chat for like 10 minutes on your lunch break. So that's how I'm doing that's how I add followers and go through my whole invite process. So I'm doing that with 10 people every single day. Also, like doing that stuff gets them to watch your stories. Because if they're like, how does the fitness stuff work? I'll be like, hey, if you've never seen a home workout, check out my story and you'll see kind of what it looks like to work out at home. Because I'll show my workout, I'll show Gabby's workout, and I'll show a couple of my customers or coaches' workouts every single day. So I can get them to watch my stories by just telling them, hey, come check out before we do our call, come check out and you can see what it looks like to work out at home. Okay, so that's a way to grow your following. Does anybody have any questions along that line about growing your following? Please don't be shy. And I'll look up the next question. Okay, I got a question. Ashley, I think this is your question that started the whole thing, right? It is. Okay, I got Ashley's question. Okay, Chris, yes. Okay. Ashley, and everybody, let's give a shout out to Ashley because she instigated this Q&A call by asking a question in the team page. And I was like, we haven't done a Q&A for a while. So here was her first question. It says, when chatting about coaching, how are you approaching the I don't want to sell objection? I'm wondering if I need to tweak my posts. Okay, so I need to think about this because I didn't think about it. No, like I get people all the time that say, I don't want to sell. I honestly, I felt that at the beginning as well. I've never been a salesman. I had one job where I was a salesman for 3 months. And like I was really good at it. It was straight after I went on a mission for my church. So I was really good at knocking doors, getting someone to trust me, share a message with them, and inviting them to come to church or get baptized. So I was really good at that. So when I went into this my first ever sales job, which was selling vacuum cleaners door to door, I was really good. I ended up getting like number 2 in the Salt Lake Valley. I got a free cruise, and it was my first cruise I ever went on. About 3 months in, I quit. When they were at the sales part after I did the presentation, the job is to pass over the phone in that case to the manager who is not there, and they would do the sell. And I got there and the people listened to the thing, and I knew that they were dirt poor. Like their house was, they had no money. Like, and I could just tell that they were deprived of a lot of things. And then I'm supposed to sell them a $2,800 vacuum. And so I told my boss, I went on the phone like I'm supposed to, and I'm like, I don't want you to do this pitch. Like, I don't want you to get them on a monthly plan. They don't need this vac. They were like hoarders. Like there was a hallway through their living room that it's never been vacuumed in probably like 20 years too. So it's like, what is a vacuum going to do when their house is packed with junk, you know? And so I'm like, I'm not going to sell. And he's like, you hand them the phone and like, do your job. And I was like, nope. And I hung up and I quit that job. I was like, I'm not going to do it. And so like, I'm not a salesperson. Like I walked out when a sale felt gross, like when it felt like not the right thing to do. So one of the main things to do with any objection is if you've ever felt that before, or someone has, like, let them know that you felt that too. So it'd be like, if you're talking one-on-one with someone, they're like, I don't want to sell things. It'd be like, oh, like, I totally get it. I'd never, like, let me tell you about this. Like I ended up in a sales job once. Like I would say it like that. And I would tell that vacuum story. And it was the grossest thing. It went against my values and what I believe in. And so I walked out. Like, I can't do that. But here's what I found about, and then I always say, but here's what I learned, or here's what I found out about Beachbody, about being a coach and then I just tell them my experience and how I do it. Like my job as a coach is not to sell somebody. And I tell them, if this is a prospect, I say, hey, I'm not going to teach you how to close a sale. Like, I'm not going to teach you step by step. This is how the sales process is, and this is how you close the sale, because I don't do that with anybody. Like when I talk to somebody and they say they're interested in losing weight, like I show them the solution that worked for me. I let them know that that's an option for them. And if they want to do it, then I send them a link, and I'll tell them that's the sale, right? But if they don't want to, or they're not ready for it, then I'm totally cool with that. And I tell them, I'll help you whether you buy from me or not. And that's the way I've run my business since I started. So I personally can help get through the I don't want to sell objection by letting them know that they don't have to sell anything. Like they can be a coach on this team and never sell a thing, and they're still like, they can still be benefit their own life through Team Beachbody by doing the programs and all of that and learning and growing. And they can help other people without doing that. Because if you think about it, when I started my journey, I helped people with P90X and insanity without ever making a sale. Like all I did was tell people, you should do P90X, you should do insanity. What did they do? They went and bought it off Craigslist, or they bought it on eBay, or they burnt it. I don't know what they did with it, but they got it somehow. And then I helped them. So I let them know that that's what I did. So the switch for me from overcoming that objection in myself for those 8 months before I became a coach was I just had to learn how to, when I told them you should do it, learn how to say, here's a link to buy it from me. And if they did, cool. If they didn't, cool. I'm still going to help them get results. And in the long run, I believe that if you help somebody and add enough value to them, they're going to want to give back to you. And in the Team Beachbody, in the coaching world, that could be, let's say Randy says she wants help. And I've had this experience more times than I can count. And this is not Randy's story, but I'm using Randy's name. Someone comes to me and say, hey, like I've been inspired. And they'll even tell me, I went and bought Insanity. And I'll be like, sweet. I don't say, where did you buy it from? Where did you get it? I don't ever say that. I say, do you need help and accountability on finishing it? And almost all the time they say, yeah, that would be great. And so I say, okay, cool. Let me introduce you to our group. And then I check in with them on my follow-up list, help them get results. And then what happens when they get results? They at some point want to try Shakeology because they see everybody else trying it, or they want to try that yellow or that pink drink they see people drinking in our thing. And they say, where do I get that? Or how do I buy that? And then the other thing that happens is they say, hey, I've seen great results. I see how you've helped me, and I want to help other people. Does that make sense? And there was no sell in that 1 year of time, not one sell. They bought it, they got it from someone else. You support them, help them, and then the time comes when they're ready. So that's my long answer to I don't want to sell objection, Ashley. But I should have brought my water in here. But one of the ways that you can articulate and address that on your social media as well beforehand. And I guess I have the question, Ashley, with you. Did you have that objection yourself, or do you feel that sometime yourself? Like the I don't want to sell? Okay. So yeah, I would from time to time, one of the best ways to address objections, you'll see people doing it on their social media from time to time about how they felt or thought about network marketing companies and then what Beachbody is, like about pyramid schemes. And then they'll share what Beachbody is. What they're doing is they're addressing an objection in their social media posts. So the same thing can happen with this I don't want to sell objection. Like I've never personally done it, but like for me with the story I told you, I would tell that vacuum story, that vacuum salesman story. And what's going to happen is I'm going to attract people that are hard workers, that are maybe service oriented, like I was talking about my mission and then how I went to do that job and how I was willing to learn and all that stuff, right? And then I could address that I don't want to sell objection about how I walked out on that job. And then tell them, how, just like I told you, and I kind of felt the same way as I got started as a coach, but I learned through 8 months of helping people that when you help people and add value to them, like if they're going to buy it anyway, they're going to want to buy it from a friend and someone they trust rather than just going online. Does that make sense? Cool. Okay. We've almost been on for an hour. It doesn't seem like it. No wonder I need some water. So is anybody, that's all the questions that were written down on that post. I'm going to just check these comments real quick. Chris says, if you love something, I read these out loud for the people that can't read them, that watch the recording. If you love something and believe in something, you are just sharing what you love. Call it selling if you like, but it's sharing what you love. That's all. And that's true. So it would be also, Ashley, to go off of what Chris is sharing, is helping that person, like selling is helping someone overcome an objection. So in all reality, when you're helping that person overcome that objection, you're selling them in a way on that. Another way of thinking about that is helping that person understand that they're selling every single day. If they have a job right now, they're selling. If they have any ambition to move up through their company, if they don't, they're probably not going to be the coach you want on your team to build a team anyway. But if they have any ambition inside of their work to move up through the company, they're going to be selling themselves every day to their boss and the people in charge of promoting them. So it's helping them connect the dots that they're already selling. The same thing goes with your kids. You're selling your kids on making right choices and behaving in a certain way every single day by the way that you're influencing them. So we're all selling in a way. So just help them understand that prospect, that that's what they're doing as a coach, is they're selling people on the, helping them understand the benefits of doing what you're doing. Okay, Lindsay says, share what you love and share how it adds value. No selling, you're sharing a gift. Yep. So absolutely. One way that I think about inviting as well, because I'll find coach, I say this because I see Mike on here as a new coach. I know Whitney and Leilani are my new coaches, are going to be watching this recording as well. One of the best analogies I've ever heard about this, and it's so true for me because I'm naturally introverted. And when I was younger, I felt like I didn't really belong in many groups. Like I was that guy that was like a part of every group, but not a part of one group. Like I was the floater. And so I felt like I didn't really belong or wasn't invited into certain groups. So that's something I obviously had to get over as well. Carl Deichler helped me with that one. But the best way that I heard this invite process to help you get started this right away, and the importance of these private messages we talked about in the Q&A part of expanding your network and growing followers, is starting those new conversations, hitting follow, sending that private message to that person. Like you can do the post like, hey, I'm a brand new coach. This is what I'm doing. This is how it's changing my life. You can do that post right on Facebook or Instagram. But here's the thing, you might have 100 friends on your list or 200 on your friends list. They're going to look at that and be like, oh, that's cool, but that's probably not for me, right? And the way that really resonated with me is pretend you guys all live like within a mile radius in my neighborhood. And I'm going to do a barbecue in the front yard. It's like hooray, winter's over. It's going to be spring. Let's have a barbecue. And I go put flyers on all the mailboxes that say, hey, barbecue at the Hobbs house. You're invited Sunday at 7 p.m., whatever it is. A lot of people will look at that and be like, oh, but I don't really know them. I don't think I'm invited. I don't think they mean me when they say everybody. And they might not show up. But look at it like this. Let's say you took that flyer and you knocked on everybody's door and you open the door and you're like, hey, I'm Michael. What's your name? How many kids do you have? Oh, I would be like, I got 5 kids. Oh, you got 3 kids. Awesome. Who are their teachers? Like you make a friend with a private conversation and you say, hey, here's this little thing. We're having a barbecue on Sunday. I would love it if you would come down with your kids. Like if someone did that to you for a barbecue, which option are you will more likely get you to the barbecue? The one posted on the mailbox or that person knocking on your door? I want you to think about that. So that's the importance of the invite process, not just posting on social media. Yes, you do that, but it's that private invitation. Like let people know that they're welcome to come into your virtual gym with you. They're welcome. They're invited to come be on this team and on this mission and on this journey with you. So hashtag knock knock. We're coming for you. Team Dynasty Strong, right? Okay. That's all we're going to do for now because I have a private one-on-one call with Chris Pandolfo. And then my kids get home from school in like 35 minutes and Gabby is out of town in Utah. So I got to get that done and greet these kids. So thanks for being on live. And guys, whenever you have questions, please ask because the goal is to help you guys get moving in the direction of your goals and you guys start helping more people. Okay. All right. You're welcome, Ashley. See you guys later.